I'm not Chris.
And I'm not Karina.
But we're here together.
As usual.
For more fun times and
shenanigans.
We're joined today by Dooney, my little hedgehog buddy here, and Fen over here with Chris.
So but you watch the YouTube. You get to see cute things sometimes.
Yes.
And also I'm here.
Because I need feedback and pressure. I need movement today.
Yeah, this is nice. This was a good call.
Yeah.
Like I'm like
I was like, I need this. I don't know what it is. I need to make biscuits.
I was doing that yesterday.
Sorry.
So we tried recording yesterday and it didn't go well.
Yeah.
So we're redoing this.
We got interrupted and then we were talking about season 7.
Yeah, season 7.
And then we got tired.
Dude, I was so wiped. I was wiped before. Like
getting started was hard.
Whatever. I'll get to it in my weekly recap. But
yes.
If you want to watch us, watch us on YouTube.
Yes.
If you want to listen to us on Audible, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon, and Podbean.
Yes.
That's our main source.
And then if you're wondering what in the heck you've walked into, this is our sibling duo podcast / YouTube channel about life with chronic and invisible illnesses and conditions, including mental and emotional.
I'm mental and she's emotional.
Indeed. So, yes. You can also join us in the
Yes.
Discord. We have a wonderful, wonderful Discord family that we've kind of constructed over time, and they are just the loveliest humans we've ever met.
Mm-hmm.
So hop in there. You get to join us on our lives.
Yeah, we do lives on Friday evening and Saturday mornings, our time, which is middle of America. So we usually do Saturdays as like a European version so that you guys can have it in the evening.
Yes.
And we do lots of stuff there. We plan episodes. We talk about our week. We just talk about stupid things that we've seen or read. It's fun. It's just
a
fun.
good time. Indeed. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Cool. Welcome. Yesterday didn't go over so well, but we're actually really glad that it didn't because we were both sitting there like something's missing from what we had for the topic and our breakdown. It just wasn't quite there.
There's like a moment with every topic that we do, at least in like since season 5.
Yeah.
Every topic we've done, we've been like fired up about it.
It's basically like you get a knot and you start untangling it, and it's the ones where you pull the one end and it all comes unraveling, and that's what we're looking for, is that thread to just tug and unravel the whole thing. So I'm really excited about today's because Chris did a really good job breaking this down and bringing it all together.
I did a brain.
He did a brain.
Thank you, Lo-Fi Beats.
Yeah. But first, it is time for the weekly recap.
Check in.
Haha. I'll go first because my week was just a week. It just happened.
Yeah.
My therapist is on out of the office. I think she had a family emergency until September 19th. So I really hope nothing goes horribly wrong. I don't have any doctor's appointments coming up, so we don't have to worry about that being a trigger. So, and if you're curious about that, check out the last episode. It was
the last 2 episodes.
Yeah. We didn't really do anything, did we, this week?
No, it was a week, right? Like it passed.
Yeah.
I worked on the podcast a bunch.
Yeah. Time happened. I don't know.
Yeah. I saw a doctor. Well, I didn't see a doctor. I tried to fill my meds, and now I have to go see the doctor because my doctor's out of office because she's a teacher. So she's all over the place. And there was just a miscommunication last time she filled, and then this time that same communication error threw everything off. So we got to fix it. But randomly, I got my Concerta filled, which is my fatigue ADHD medication that I haven't had since January. I got the prescription in January. I sent it in, and they haven't had it until this week. Yeah. So I have Concerta. Yay, go team. I was so happy. I was like, oh, rabbit pellets. Yeah. Because they're little rabbit pellets.
They're really cute. They're weird.
Yeah, they're little gray guys.
So bizarre. But yeah, so he's feeling different.
Okay, yeah. So like as I'm getting back on it, like I was feeling it a lot yesterday.
Yeah.
Just even. It's so weird to just be fatigued. Even.
Not low constantly.
Right. No spikes. No, like I have to be high energy to combat the low energy. Yeah. Just even.
Oh, see, that's where I live, is like be crazy so that your body thinks that it's still time to be awake.
Yeah. And I'm just also still like adjusting to it. Like it took me a week last time to adjust. So I figure that'll happen again. But that's good news for the podcast because I'll have energy to do things. And there's so many things I want to do. Because we have season 7 coming.
Season 7's coming.
We're going to show you guys the window in season 7, I promise.
I'm so excited.
You'll see a window.
There will be a window.
Right here. there's not a window
there.
now, but there will be.
Yeah, eventually.
So, look forward to it. I know the deep lore cuts. People are following the drama of the window.
Of the window, yeah, the window that's not a window.
It's Faye. Faye probably actually does know more about the window.
Faye is our archivist, and she does an amazing job.
Yeah, thank you,
She
Faye.
does everything. It's great.
We love you in the lives. We just love you.
Yeah.
So
all the time,
everybody.
forever.
This extends to everyone.
Yeah, we did have a pair of really fun, really nice lives where we got to talk with a lot of people all at the same time, which is always just such a joy.
Yeah. We're going to change that up too, I think.
Yeah.
We're going to have to go back. We have to go back to stupid stage so that people can raise their hands.
Oh, okay.
Right? Like that way we don't have to worry about people getting cut off, but I can moderate that easy and just click to people and be like, this person wants to talk now. And then.
Yeah. Okay. We can do that.
You know,
cool.
That way we don't cut people out.
Yeah.
And they don't feel like they can't talk.
Right.
So yeah.
Yep.
Big changes
on the horizon.
So, what are we talking about today?
Today we're going to talk about kind of the medical stigma as a whole, and we're going to revisit the ideas of like how society views and treats chronically ill and disabled people.
Yes.
Because it is abhorrent, and if you live in the United States, you know this. I know other places do a better job, but there are still problems.
Yeah, I was gonna say a lot of these problems we've still heard, like we hear back from people all over the country and all over the world with like the same problem.
Right.
You know, maybe not to the same degree or as much, but it's still there.
Yeah.
It's like baked into the system as a whole.
Right. Well, it's because medicine is evolving and changing so quickly.
Yeah. That
the people who are educated, all of their education is outdated.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're still walking around with outdated ideas and stigma and bias, because God help us, we see it with how doctors view women. Where they're like, you don't feel pain, and you're like, science? And they're like, no. Tradition.
Okay, so as a female, for everybody listening and watching, how many times has that happened? I'm not even gonna ask if it's happened.
Yeah.
Because everybody I know, I've been there with Jen's been harassed.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen you get harassed.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked to everybody in the Discord.
Yep.
I just want to know how often.
Oh, it's awful.
Because it's there.
They're like, you're a woman, and that's the whole problem. Have you thought that maybe it's your uterus? And you're like, my head hurts.
Right.
It's your uterus.
I have severe kidney stones all the time, chronically.
I'm
having bad kidney
uterus.
stones. Oh, you're on your period. No, I'm not.
But maybe have you thought that, I know it's hard to tell sometimes.
Oh my God, dude.
Because you're a woman.
Having a doctor mansplain shit to my wife is so infuriating.
Have you ever had a period before?
No, not personally.
Because, I mean, I don't know if you remember what the last one was like.
It's been so long.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh my God.
We were the people who sent 100 tampons into space for like, what, a day?
Yeah.
Cool. Smart. Well done. But yes,
Humanity.
So we're going to tackle some of that stigma, but more broadly across the board as it applies to chronic illness and especially invisibility and disability as a whole.
And kind of talking like pre-diagnosis and post-diagnosis.
Yes.
Because it changes, not for the better.
Right.
But it changes.
It just gets different.
Yeah.
Check that out.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this is your baby. Where would you like to start?
Okay. Let me read my note that you wrote. That's your note. That's my note. I gotta kill you if you want to kill me.
The note. Onlykillchris.com.
I can't read. Stop talking.
Sorry.
Oh yeah. So starting with like the way we get viewed in society.
Yes.
Because that's when I hit that when we were talking originally, it was just going to be about like self-medicating.
Yeah.
And how that's viewed, and I was like, we could do better.
There's
like,
more.
There's more. There is.
There's more.
And Lou said it.
Yeah.
We just didn't.
Had to unravel it.
Yeah, had to wrap brain around it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Lulu. I'm dumb.
No, we got it. But a great suggestion. Thank you.
Yes.
So how society views us kind of as a whole and as people who are disabled in one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
And people who are kind of progressively disabled.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it gets tricky because we have HEDS, right?
Yeah.
So we have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Which is, I love that this correction has been there. It's just kind of a progressive illness where life gets harder and harder over time. And so maybe you start out working and then later you can't. And I'm still working, but also just had to get accommodations at work because
she's smart.
I can't cut it anymore.
Yeah.
But society doesn't look to us as people who need help. Society looks to us as a drain on the system. Society looks to us as people who aren't trying hard enough.
Mm-hmm. There's also the whole being invisible.
Yes.
So there's a lot of judgment of, oh, they're faking it. They're milking the system.
Right.
Or they just want to park close.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if you've ever like had a parking interaction where someone's like, you don't look sick. And you're like, good thing you don't get to decide.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Go away.
Right.
I have the placard. You shoo.
So this again, it's like when you're diagnosed,
Mm-hmm.
you could look diagnosed, you could look not diagnosed.
Right.
You're not going to win.
Yeah.
It's oh God, it's so frustrating.
And disability as a whole, like some people have absolutely debilitating migraines and wind up on disability because of their debilitating migraines. You can't see that.
Mm-mm.
You can't. But people are going to, because what do people think when they hear disability? They think like Special Olympics, yeah?
Oh, I see where you're going. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So when people think about people who are disabled, they're thinking about the most visible disabilities. They're thinking about the most, I don't want to say stigmatized, but like stereotypical.
Stereotypical, yeah. That's the way.
Stereotypical disabilities, or like what you've seen in media, right? Like what's getting the attention? What can you see? What can you see? What can you see?
Which is why we have to be more visible when we're doing things, because there is a stigma, and it's like we're choosing to be more visible in the disabled spectrum so that they can catch it. But I've been given shit for the way I use my cane before.
Yeah. Oh, me too. Constantly. And I'm like, I'm not going to stop doing it the way I'm doing it because it's helping me. So go away.
I'm not using it because
I'm not using it correctly.
Right. The idea is that you're offsetting the pressure on the side that you're using the cane, right?
Yeah.
But we do it because that leg's going to give out and I need to be able to catch myself. If I'm holding it on the opposite side, my leg goes down, I'm going down.
You're going over. Yeah. It doesn't matter.
Right. But,
it does not matter.
I don't know how to disable properly.
Yes. So we use cane in Dr. House method generally. Yeah. But again, like, even though we may not use it in the house, when we go out, A, it's to make ourselves more visible. Mm-hmm. And B, it's because we're out and about walking around places that don't have the typical supports that we have in our home.
Right.
And you're walking further distances. You're doing more stuff.
Well, like, think of Ruth. Like, she's wonderful.
Yes.
And she's on the lives, and we see her walking.
Yes.
But she also has a scooter, right?
Right. Well, it's something like 70% of, don't quote me on that, I don't actually know. It's a high percentage of wheelchair users are ambulatory.
Yeah.
Which means that they can stand up and walk for certain distances.
Exactly.
Some longer than others. But when people see someone in a wheelchair, they're like, oh, you can't walk.
Yeah, that's the only reason to be in a wheelchair.
You can't walk. Otherwise, you would not be in a wheelchair.
It's very black and white.
Yes. But that's how we are treated.
Yes.
In this like black and white. You can't be... Especially EDS is such a weird one when you'll have a symptom for a long time and then suddenly it goes away and there's a new one. Mm-hmm. And then people are looking to you like, another one? Again?
I hate that. And I'm doing it to myself.
Yes.
Right?
Well, because it's been implanted.
Right. We have the same perspective growing up in this culture that they do. We just have, we can be like, oh, well, it's us, like
right.
You don't think about it usually that you're being discriminatory to yourself at times when you're like, they should be able to do that, or
right.
It's like,
well, but
you can't.
Our society has taught us throughout life that we are our productivity.
Mm-hmm.
We are what we can
what you can produce.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of what we always say.
Yes. Which is like, no matter what happens, you have worth as a human being simply because you exist. You are not worth what you can do or produce for other people.
Right.
And we love you. End of story.
Fact.
So shut up. Sit down. I don't know.
If you're sitting, stand up.
Yeah.
Now sit down. Thank you. Sorry if that hurt. But thank you for doing it. I mean, it means a lot to me that you would listen to me. Hey.
Sit down on that chair and stand up.
Turn around. Sit
right now.
Sit on that. We'll post it in the Discord.
We're on TikTok too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're absolutely right that we're taught to view ourselves that way.
Yeah.
Because in our minds, if we are not in production, we are burdensome on society, right? Which is backwards and wrong, and we shouldn't be thinking of people that way at all, because the people who are struggling the hardest are the people who need our help, not people who are not trying hard enough. That's part of
what made me really like this topic, is the idea that we get treated like, especially as an invisible, like we're
milking the system or something,
right?
Yeah,
like,
or duping the system,
right? And that we don't need help.
Yes,
like we don't qualify enough for help.
All through politics is like, oh, well, we have to make sure that people aren't just like sitting around having kids and using welfare. And you're like, okay, but the vast number of people who are using those programs need it.
Yeah.
Need it. And we make it hard to access on purpose, which sucks. But our need to be productive can lead to really self-destructive behaviors.
Yes. It can also be a good thing in a way. Part of how I've turned around my outlook on things is by giving myself something to do. Yeah. So it's like, so the podcast is my thing, and I feel like we do good things for people. Right. So I feel at the beginning, it was what started letting me have like a sense of self and being like, I have worth. Like I'm doing a thing. I'm not just sitting around doing nothing. Right. You know what I mean? Like I built myself up that way. Now, if we didn't podcast, I'd be sad. Yeah. But I'm not going to be like, I'm a piece of shit. Right. 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 Well, you and I changed a lot through producing the podcast in general. Yeah. Like, we learned a lot and we grew a lot. And we have a kinder outlook on ourselves. Yes. For sure. Go watch season 1. It's funny, but we're not happy people. No. I mean, we are, but we're not, you know what I mean? We're frustrated. You can tell there's a lot of frustration. Yeah. No, it's, it's different now that we can look on it and go like, no, I have worth beyond what I make it work. And I have worth beyond that 8-hour stretch of my day, 5 days a week that eats my soul alive for fun. Right. Yeah. But that's the societal view, is that you have to be doing something. Yeah. Well, and I think you should be doing something. Yeah. But it doesn't have to be tied to like money. Make it that creative outlet for sure. Yeah. Which this has been for you for sure. Because I think that's a really important part of like stimulation in general, and keeping the mind active and working and moving. Yeah. Because that continues growth and doesn't let you like stagnate. So yeah, do something. Yeah. Do something. You want to like do some wood carving? Cool. Try it. Even if you're not good at it, pick it up. Try it. Right. Amazon, bro. No shit. There's a lot. Yeah. Yeah. So that we're here. Yes. So hanging out with what happens when we use those like self-destructive behaviors to excess, and we wind up in the realm of burnout because we are pushing and pushing and pushing to continue productivity. Right. Well, it's just maxing your masking. Yes. Right. That's what is expected of us. Yes. Oh, you don't have a horrible thing that's visible? Right. You can't show me anything because I don't care. Yes. Well, and don't be gross with your disability near me. Like, yeah. We don't want to see it. We don't want to hear it. It makes them so uncomfortable. Yes. They're like, it's icky. You're getting your disability all over me. I don't want it. Go away. Yeah. And you're like, dude, it's not contagious, exist. Guys. So yeah, we are pushed into masking our symptoms, which leads to extreme burnout. Yeah. Because you're holding yourself to a higher standard than they would hold for themselves. And you're dealing with more than they are. Like, I love the contradictions in this entire thing. There's like the societal expectation. Oh, you're sick? Oh, you got to work really hard then. Yeah. Bootstraps. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, because you're not. Get you some extra bootstraps. What was it that Lou said? It was oh God, you wrote it down. Did I? Yeah, it was had to do with burnout. Punitive bias. Yeah, there's that. I don't know about bias or about burnout, but yeah, it leads to crazy, insane burnout, and then you can't productive any longer, and that messes you up real good. So wait. Might be on this one too. It was something that Lou said that like really struck me, and I was like, that exactly.
Society says we're not trying hard
enough?
enough?
Yes, not trying hard enough.
Yes.
I
like how I found it on the sheet immediately.
Yeah.
But yes, society will tell you you're not trying hard enough. And you know who else will tell you that? Your doctors.
Yes.
You know who else will tell you that? Your therapist.
Your family.
Everybody. It's
yeah.
Gonna be like, well, have you tried blah, 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 blah,
Which is so fun. Like, just think about it. You're going to your support systems. You have your healthcare system. You have your family. You have your friends. But they will still just be like, try harder.
Try harder.
Could you maybe?
But also
just try?
Pace yourself, maybe. But try hard. We know that not working is bad for you.
I don't know if this applies to
Stop
this.
it.
But it seems like that's what you've been going through with work, right?
Yeah.
Like there was that moment in time where they were like, well, we can't be doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you were like, reminder.
Yeah.
I have a chronic condition.
Several.
And then you presented that and they're like,
yeah.
oh shit, she does.
Well, and I say this a lot where I'm like, it seems like they forget that I'm disabled every time they look away from me.
Exactly. It's like
because
object
I
permanence.
Don't exactly. Well, and I don't have a constant physical reminder.
Right.
I don't use a cane on a daily basis.
Right.
I don't use braces on a daily basis. I use them when I need them.
Right.
But usually I don't like the attention of like, oh, miss, what's wrong? What did you do? And then I'm like, you don't want to know. I was opening the lid to something and I dislocated my entire wrist.
No,
I don't know.
I picked up a bag.
Yeah.
That's what did it last time. I was like, I picked a bag up.
It was a oh yeah, that was not nice. Didn't like that. Or like using a cane. What did you do, miss? I got out of the car wrong.
Yeah. I sat out of
I don't know.
We've both done the thing where you get out of bed wrong.
Yeah, I hate that one. Like the tailbone pops and then horrible things happen. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Don't like it. The pelvis is cursed just in general.
It's such a double standard for
yes.
them to for society for
yes.
the societal expectation to be you're sick.
Yeah.
You either stay in bed and be sick, like please be visibly ill for me.
Right.
Or don't.
It's like when you're a kid and your parents are like, "Oh, if you're staying home from school sick, you better stay in that bed and do nothing all day long. And if you even watch TV, clearly you weren't sick enough."
Right.
That is such a broken, just busted way of thinking. I cannot imagine
well, and think of growing up with that trains you.
Yes.
There's the programming.
You had bet well, and I ran on that for so long. I had to go through a lot of this with my therapist before, where it's like I had to take away the idea that I had to be completely broken in order to take care of myself.
Right.
Because I couldn't find the off switch. I couldn't find the point where I was too sick to do something.
Right. You would never find it.
Exactly.
You'd never hit that point.
All I do is push through.
Mm-hmm.
Because every day we push through.
Yeah.
Every moment we're pushing through. Half the time we don't notice when we are actually ill because that's our daily existence.
Right.
And then when you push through it and push through it and push through it, you can't find the point where you're like, wow, I should have been on the floor crying 30 years ago.
Yeah.
What is going on? And they're like, you were just diagnosed with cancer. Still not sick enough to stay home.
Right. No. No joke. Fuck. I'm so upset about it. When I was writing it down, that's why I was writing down jokes about sorry, John. I know you don't believe in Medicaid or taking care of people or that people should take payments, but when you break your leg, you're going to want something.
Right.
Your outlook's going to change a little bit, bud.
Uh-huh. Well, and when you use all your sick days because you got into a car accident that wasn't your fault.
That's such bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Or when you wind up with chronic back pain because of that car accident that no one wants to look at because it's chronic back pain. Welcome to the club.
Oh,
it's literally that easy to go from this well person point of view to, oh no, the system is very broken.
Yeah, I remember what I was going to say. So we've been kind of on a tangent about words that are used against us, phrases that shouldn't be used the way they are. We talked last week about what was it? Or being a professional patient.
Oh yes. That was icky.
With a horrible negative connotation. Same with doctor shopping.
Yes.
Don't do that.
So
you're going to be seen as a doctor shopper. I am. I'm looking for a doctor who will be on my team with me.
Yeah.
To work with me on my stuff. But the same with self-medicating.
Mm-hmm.
That's another one of those things. Oh, you self-medicate?
Yeah.
Do you even know what that means?
Buddy.
Have you thought about it for more than a second?
Wow. I'm like, you self-medicate when you take Tylenol.
Yeah. What are you doing? Self-medicating.
Self-medicating. Good job.
But we'll get into that later.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a whole half of the show.
Well, and before that, we have to get through what happens after burnout.
Oh, the shame.
Because at that point, you have to seek help.
Yeah.
And then if you need help, there's shame. Because you need help.
Right. Which is so weird.
Yeah. They're like, do everything a well person can do, but also if you need help.
Yeah. Well, and
bad.
If you were to ask anybody just off the street, like, if this happened, what should I do? They would be like, take care of yourself, do the right thing. Yeah. But then when that actually happens in like a situation where they need something from you or they're expecting, it's like, oh, why can't you just burn through it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they don't consciously,
you push through everything else.
They're not consciously aware that that's the reality.
Yeah.
No one wants to imagine that they would do that to someone else.
Right.
But it
happens.
Yeah.
Because chronic illness is so complex in the way that people, it's like object permanence, right?
It really is.
Where people are just like, you look fine. You were really sick yesterday, which is weird to me that you could be sick yesterday and fine today. So now I think you're faking because I can't fathom it.
Right.
Because for a normal, well person, not normal, you know what I mean?
Yes.
For like the average well person, when they get sick, they are sick until they are well. And that's it. That's what they got.
Yeah.
Where we are sick and then we get sicker and then we are just sick again.
Right.
So
exactly.
Our baseline is sick. And they forget that our baseline is sick.
Like, for perspective, we don't know when we're sick a lot of the times. We have to be like, MCAS, dysautonomia, what's going on here? Let me wait 4 days and then see if anything's going on.
Right. Is it allergies? What did I do to myself?
Right.
Is it because my rib is out and I can't breathe very well?
Well, and it's the same problem that you had with your doctor or the neurologist explaining to you your system.
Oh my God.
Saying that she feels more pain because she has a condition. And again, I'm going to preface this with, there is studies. I understand that you can get pathways in your brain burned in that are pathways for pain.
Yes.
But we still background everything.
Yes.
Like, if I stub my toe, I go, oh, well, okay.
Right. I'm sorry. Let's example here, right? Yeah. Well, people, ingrown toenail.
Yes, this is a great example. Surgery,
yeah? Going to the podiatrist, getting numbed up with a tourniquet and some epinephrine to do some surgery. What do?
I have a pair of scissors that are special. They're curved, and I cut it, and then I remove the toenail.
Yes.
Or I just take the whole toenail
currently, off. I won't show you because feet. Yeah. And also some of you might be squeamish.
Yeah.
But I'm missing a toenail currently because I ripped off part of it with a door, and then had to go back and debris the rest of it, by pulling it off of the live part.
Yeah. I've both of my toenails now I had to fully remove so they would grow back in properly.
Yeah.
And I just did it in bed. I was like, all right.
Right. So I understand the like, but again, all of those studies are looking at chronic pain.
Right. A single pain that does have the same origin point and travels the same way to your brain.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me too.
Right.
But we're not, the only thing I have that's like that is my back.
Right.
And it's not like, it doesn't seem out of control to me.
Yeah.
You know, it's again, it's like part of my background noise. Sometimes it hurts really bad because I did something, or, you know, if I'm swelling, or MCAS. If I have an MCAS flare,
is really bad because everything just swells up because the scar tissue swells.
Yeah.
And that's what happens.
And then it sticks more to itself and swells more.
Right.
It's great.
So, I mean, the idea that we feel more pain, like, oh, if you stubbed your toe as a well person, you'd feel it less than I'd feel it. No, because honestly, there's a point where my body just cuts it off at the bottom. So there are things that like I won't feel until it gets more severe.
Right.
I literally will not feel the injury or the damage until it gets to a severe point where my brain's like, oh, let's take notice of that.
Well, it's how you can get into a car accident, wait a day, and then find out what your injuries you have.
Yeah. Or wait more than a day.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we don't know. Everything's background noise. So it's just a misunderstanding of people who are ill, and it's a misunderstanding of the diversity of illness that affects our society.
Right.
Either through sheer blindness because they don't want to see it.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So this is something that, or
As I covered you.
This is very similar, but oh God, it makes me so mad. When I'm watching like reality TV, right? Everyone they hire has some sort of history or backstory, something that you can talk about. Some of the ones that drive me most insane are people that are like enlightened because their mom had cancer. So I know what real pain is like because I've seen someone go through pain. Which that's close. You're closer to it, yes.
Yes.
But you haven't gone through it.
Yes.
And they make it their own. It's so selfish to me to be like, someone I care about went through this thing and it's all about me. And it's like,
well, it's like all of friggin' Autism Speaks, right?
Yes.
It's like, oh, my child's had autism and I am just the center of all of the attention. And how are you going to help me because my child had... And you're like, who's helping the kid?
Right? Well, and it's not a healthy environment.
What?
The mom's bemoaning the fact that they have autism.
Oh, God. Autism stole my child.
I love my daughter.
Shut up.
Because we were watching Love on the Spectrum. And then we were watching the other one for people with Down syndrome.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, I like these people. And I was like, why? Yeah. She's like, they're just straightforward, I guess.
They're real humans.
Right. I'm like,
there's no pretension.
Right. They don't know how to like fake that bravado that everyone puts on.
Which is exhausting.
That's just a whole side tangent though.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No.
Shame for seeking help. Absolutely.
Yes. Even shame from providers.
Yeah, that's what I thought at first.
Yeah.
Is the
provider's like, why are you here?
The worst is when you're in the ER for something.
Oh my God.
I don't know if this is true of anyone else, but I've gone to not even just the ER, urgent care a bunch, to the point where I'm recognizable.
Oh yeah, and
but like, not in a positive way.
So soon. I had that happen. Do
you remember when
at an urgent care?
Yeah.
You and I both had that happen where they're like, back again.
Yeah.
Or like, back so soon.
Yeah.
Like,
so
why are you still here?
I went in. I don't know. You can't really see the scar from this distance. There's a giant scar on my hand, like I got cut.
Yeah.
And this nurse helped me, and I was fine. And there was no negative part of the interaction. Yeah. So I don't know why the second time I went in, she was just so mean to me. But I went in after my back surgery because the suture, the plastic ribbing got dislodged and was being yanked on. And it hurt really bad because it was a fresh surgery.
It was like lodged underneath the scarring and then stuck into the scarring on the other part.
Yeah, and it was supposed to dissolve, but it wasn't dissolving.
Well, because they don't.
Yeah.
They literally don't. If you have EDS, you probably know that like dissolvable or resorbable, I think is what they call them.
Yeah.
Sutures don't work. I had sutures in my mouth that were supposed to last 7 to 14 days, and they lasted 3.
Yeah, you had to remove it.
Because my body was like, get it out.
Well, and that's what I had to do.
Get it out, get it out.
But when I went in, the nurse that she wasn't even working with me. Yeah. She was like, why are you here again? And I was like, oh, right back. She's like, oh, it's probably not that bad.
I was
like, where's this attitude coming from? Like, I don't get it. Yes, I am accident prone. I have things going on. Yeah. I went to the urgent care more than once.
Well, and that leads to that like gatekeepy thing that happens where they're like, and this is what happened with the neurologist is like, oh, well, you've been seen blah, blah, blah this many times by this many providers by blah, 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 blah. I'm not even going to look at what your problems are.
Right.
I just don't like the history of what you've done within the medical system.
Right. Well, that's another one that drives me nuts. The using your history against you because you're painting it in your own personal light. Yeah. Like, I've gone through several primary cares. Yeah. And I've never dropped one. Right. They've closed or you know what I mean? Yeah. Like,
but they treat you like you're jumping around because you're looking for something.
Care.
And something is drugs when they
yes, it's code
have
drugs.
It in their brain.
Absolutely. But isn't that messed up? Like my first had to close because Medicaid changed their pricing. And then Marianne had to leave because she got in a fight with the doctor who wasn't treating people. Her head, whatever, who was above the clinic, like manages it, was like, you can't do what you're doing.
Coming after her. Yeah. Oh, I remember that.
She stood up for her patients and they fired her.
Yep.
And then Bomba still has to work under the same like
pretentious
scrutiny.
Nonsense. Yeah.
I'm worried I'm going to lose her soon because they move on. But like, that's not, I wasn't doctor shopping.
Right.
And I'm not against doctor shopping anyways.
Right.
But it's what it looks like. And then when you see like when they look at all the like specialists you've seen, like, you're a hypochondriac or
right.
hypochondriac.
Hypochondriac, professional patient.
Yeah.
And they to put those two things in the same box where they're like, you see too many doctors for too many things, honey. Yeah. And you're like, I have a full systemic nightmare going on inside of my body.
Yeah.
At all times. At all times. And there's literally pain at all times.
Yeah.
Like currently, I have my knee nagging at me because my hip is pulling because I'm sitting cross-legged, but I don't want to move because when I move, it hurts in the back.
Yeah. No, I'm sitting
and
here.
And that's just the one that's the loudest.
My hips are still throbbing from that other night.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. They didn't dislocate or sublux. They just are angry now.
Yeah. Well, it was because the bubble popped.
Yeah, but it hasn't gone away. Like, it's still throbbing. And my back is like, hey, what's up? I'm stabbing you now. And you're like, stop, dude. It's not funny. He's giggling back there. Hey, got him. Does this hurt? Yeah, it hurts.
Can you feel this?
Why aren't you reacting?
Because if I reacted every time something hurt, I would have to sleep a lot more.
I used to react to the pain as like a signal for other people.
Yes. Well, and sometimes I do.
Right. If there are pains that people react to. Like,
here's the other thing, and this was a misconception that even a coworker who I'm fairly close to had.
Right.
Which was, one day I dislocated my finger or my hand or something. I dislocated something trying to get out of the room. Oh no! I tried to deglove my finger and ripped it like out of socket. That's what it was, and I was like in pain. I was in pain, and I asked him to like hold something or carry something while I tried to put it back. And then he looked at me and he was like, I'm really surprised that hurt you. And I was like, what? And he goes, well, nothing hurts you. And I was like, come here. Incorrect. It all still hurts. I'm just used to it enough that I don't have to cry every time.
Right. Well, isn't that funny?
Thank you.
That's the back end of the other side where it's like we were talking about earlier. God, I hate it. I hate just the societal.
It's just so frustrating where they're just like, if you can function, because they can't imagine functioning in the amount of pain we claim to be in, right? And so they're like, well, clearly, if you're functioning, you're not in that amount of pain,
right?
And you're like, yes,
we
are.
So you either aren't sick enough or you're not trying hard enough.
Yes.
There's no there's no middle ground where it's like, oh no, this is acceptable. We understand and we'll treat you appropriately.
And then we're gonna accommodate so you can still do stuff. No.
Doesn't exist.
Try harder. And also mask more.
Let's get into the benefits cliff real quick, and then we'll
take a break.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know what the benefits cliff is, but here in the United States, there's this just abhorrent practice and system set up to help people in like the lower tier, like poverty, below the poverty line.
Yeah.
Right. But the poverty line itself is a problem. Because below the poverty line, you can get your help. Sometimes it's gatekept by bureaucracy because why not?
Yes,
Fun,
that was
great,
a big part of this.
Cool.
But yeah.
So people who need it can't access it anyway. But if you have accessed it and you start to do better and you make too much money and you're just this much
happened to me this year
than the poverty line, you lose everything.
Yeah.
Everything. There's no stepping down of services. Mm-mm. There's no tracking people. There's no like casework that happens. And I get that would be hard to do or whatever. Like our systems could be set up to do that.
Yeah.
To actually help people thrive.
I've experienced that so many times. Because we used to be on the, what's it called? Infant child. WIC, yeah.
Yeah.
And that dropped. Mm-hmm. Like as soon as Jen was making just enough to be over, it dropped, and that hurt us bad because like our grocery bill was insanity. And then you had a new
baby. And
yeah. And then same with like here this year with my insurance. Like I couldn't see Dr. Anna for 3 months, 4 months because my insurance was in flux. Mm-hmm. Because Jen made like just above the line.
Right. And if you make just above the line, all of the services are dropped.
Yeah.
Because they yank them out from under you like a rug, and then you fall right back to... And it's... Sorry, I'm going to go on a quick tangent.
Go for it.
It's really what makes me so angry about the criticism of people in poverty and the claim that they keep themselves in poverty.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is no way for them to climb out of there.
Right.
They make it so that there is no way to climb out of it.
Unless they had like a raise that was a significant difference.
Yeah.
Then, yeah.
There's no way to climb out of it. And so they keep people in poverty and then criticize them for being in poverty, make them think it's their fault.
Mm-hmm. There's the shame.
It's wrong. It's all wrong, and it makes me hurt inside.
Yeah. It's the same thing, though.
Yes.
It's people need help, and they're bad for getting help.
Yeah. Well, they're bad for needing help.
And then you don't get help.
Uh-huh.
You're doing just enough to where we don't need.
Yeah.
You don't need it.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Ugh,
yeah.
It's gross. So we need to take a break so I can be less angry about it.
Yeah.
I took my meds, so you guys have to as well. Take your meds.
Take your meds,
Do
please.
it, Christopher.
I took my meds.
Take your meds.
Him.
You.
Future me.
Take your meds.
What if I edit this tonight? I already
take your night meds.
Oh yeah, I do have night meds. Fuck, she got me.
You take them like 3 times a day. Come on.
I take them twice a day. Thank you very much.
You take them twice a day.
Yeah, like I moved my
I was like, how do you get by with the Lyrica, dude?
The that's why the middle of my day sucks.
Why aren't you doing it in the middle?
Because they changed it when I went in for sepsis. Remember they balanced everything.
Yeah.
So now it's a morning and a nighttime thing.
That's stupid.
But I take my night meds more towards 4.
That's better.
So that I don't
like an
go that
8-hour
long.
spread.
Right.
Yeah. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
I have meds 4 times a day, technically.
Yeah.
I just skip the noon one sometimes because I'm busy.
Yeah, but don't do that. Don't BS. Don't follow our example.
So yeah, take your meds. Drink some water, hydrate, or
hydrate.
Indeed. Have a snack because you are a snack and you deserve it.
It's true.
Yes. What else should they do?
They should do something nice for yourself. Go outside maybe.
And
if
Venmo
it's nice.
me $1,000.
And don't Venmo.
Not
Jen,
him.
Justice for Jen. Hashtag justice for Jen. She got fired over bullshit reasons and she's unemployed and life is stressful. The hashtag justice for Jen. / we have a Patreon link.
Where you get all the in-between stuff where it's silly.
It's good.
It's silly.
People enjoy it. And we've reduced the price actually. So there's only one tier now and it's $5 a month. And if you can, awesome. If you can't, that's fine.
That's fine.
It's not going to hurt us in the long run. We'll be fine.
To be fair, our fans were the ones who asked for the Patreon.
Yes.
So
you guys are lovely.
Yeah.
And you can always do custom amounts too. Like if you wanted to do less, Kaylee to support us did a few months at
Kaylee's in there.
Yeah.
Is Crystal still in?
Yeah. I don't know.
I'd have to look. I don't know. But some of you are in and we really appreciate you guys. It helps us do more outreach.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, I think we're going to finally take a break and stop running our fat mouths. So we love you and we'll be right back.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, hi. Do you like Fantastic Pains? Would you like to see more of the Fantastic Pains podcasting crew? If so, you should join our Patreon. The Patreon, as we like to call it, is the new home of our behind-the-scenes content, full uncut recording sessions, our short-form videos such as TikToks and YouTube Shorts, and our past live streams. You can also find some Patreon exclusive content such as our new music reviews, lost episodes, and is the new home of our Mini Voices series, all of which can be found in our higher tier dubbed The Only Pains. The Patreon is the best way to support the podcast, so whether you want to see more of us or just want to help us grow, feel free to sign up following the link in the description below, and hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of the show.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
How was your break?
I hope you did the things.
Some of them.
Any of them.
At least one.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you don't have EDS. You don't meet the criteria. If you don't do at least one thing we tell you to a break, you don't have EDS anymore.
Yeah.
You have
cured.
You have nothing. You're cured.
You're cured.
Woo, we fixed it.
Oh,
we solved EDS.
Take it away from you. Like some doctors try to.
Yes.
Which leads us directly into gatekeeping.
Yay, gatekeeping. And I mean,
look at that segue. Whoop, whoop.
That's good. It was a really good segue.
It was a very natural segue. So, gatekeeping for medical professionals. This is a really big one.
Yes.
And we've experienced it. And you've experienced it to the max.
Yeah. Yeah. In different ways too.
Yeah.
Like there's gatekeeping to get a diagnosis. There's gatekeeping because you have a diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
And then meds. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Like,
oh my God. Well, and there's even like that family element of, oh, you take medication.
Mm-hmm.
Medication is bad.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was prescribed to me because I need it.
But that's bad.
Bad.
And
bad.
clearly you are a drug addict now. And you're like,
yeah.
Since when?
Yeah.
What?
A lot of people already know the story, but for those of the new people, I had sepsis back in April, and I almost died. It was great. Loved it. Every minute of it. But before they would treat me, they were convinced that I was dying of an overdose.
Yes, because he was nodding in and out of consciousness.
I was blacking out. I couldn't stay awake, and I was fighting it to stay awake. I was scared, terrified.
Yeah.
And
they decided to Narcan you.
Yeah, because I was on a low pain med at the time.
Yeah.
It was not even like a normal one. It was a Suboxone.
Yeah.
Like, just because it was on my list, they were like, oh, he's clearly overdosing. So they wasted 30 minutes of that trying to save me from my overdose.
Yeah.
Which turned out to be pneumonia.
Yeah.
Walking pneumonia and sepsis. Septicemia.
We were not impressed.
Mm-mm.
When Jen told me, I was just livid. I was so angry that they would do that. And like the story of the nurse being so sure she was right and her self-righteous like, now we just wait.
Yeah.
Oh, nothing's happening? No, we should just wait a little longer. Oh, wait, nothing's happening. So maybe I was wrong, but I'm not going to cop to that. I'm going to just shift past it real quick.
Yeah. Exactly.
Super impressive.
Jen, all I remember from it, because I bad times, brain no worky, swollen. I remember seeing her at one point being really angry and was very confused why she was angry. And then, like, the next time I saw her, she was sitting there like... Like...
Because, haha, guess what?
She was right.
It wasn't an overdose.
No, I was dying.
Stupid.
They wasted time, though, just because it's on there. And I get that they would treat for it. Like, it makes sense. But at the same time, like...
The attitude behind it is punitive.
And it was absolutely a punishment. Mm-hmm. They were going to show me, like, teach her that I was a bad person.
Exactly. There was, like, some sick satisfaction in being like, see, he was abusing his drugs. Like, everyone abuses their drugs.
Nope. Wasn't. You did the blood work. I was fine.
Yeah. Well, you weren't fine, but...
I was fine. It was just a blood infection.
It was just super serious is all.
Yeah.
But...
That's
it's
an
wasted
example.
time.
Like, right.
And we're not the only ones that things like that have happened to.
Oh, no. God, no. People have died because of stuff like that.
Yes. People die getting sent home from the ER.
Mm-hmm.
Constantly. Like, my advice here is if you have the access, try the urgent cares before you try the emergency room.
Yeah.
Because they are, I think, paid differently and have different loads.
Mm-hmm.
And they seem to be more interested in helping you than the actual ER, because they, in their mind, if you didn't have a serious car accident and you're not bleeding out, it's not, you shouldn't be in the emergency room.
Exactly. Yeah. It was a mess. But the gatekeeping in general, like, I was locked out of my diagnosis.
Yeah.
Because she was diagnosed, but not by him, by someone else who cited her family as an example that it's hereditary.
Yes.
Think about that. Like, so the only ways to get in is if someone in your family already had it.
Yeah.
And
they want you to have a family member with an independent diagnosis, which means they had to get diagnosed without using the reference of family, which is stupid when you come from a family that doesn't believe in Western medicine and doesn't treat their own issues. So when I was diagnosed, I was like, listen, I have two brothers with the exact same condition and these same symptoms. I know what it is. You know what it is. Can we please just officiate it? And she was like, well, yeah, if you've got the siblings, you have the genetic element that we're looking for. Ta-da, there's your diagnosis. So
otherwise it's literally impossible to get diagnosed.
Yeah.
There couldn't be new cases because
well, and they're supposed to be like reworking the criteria, but I don't know how.
And in my case, the guy didn't believe in EDS to begin with. So
we found a lot of reviews from that encounter.
Yeah, of the same thing. He just doesn't believe in EDS.
Yeah.
It's like a fad in his eyes or some shit.
Told me that my diagnosis was invalid. I was like,
while sitting next to me, while we're in the room for my diagnosis, he's like, oh, yours doesn't count either.
Yeah.
It's fucking, excuse me?
Yep. Smart. Really cool.
Oh, God.
But they do it all the time. Anytime you've been turned down for like a test or a treatment option or whatever it may be, or telling them that like a medication isn't working, and I get part of it is procedural.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
it's taken to a different place, like a different degree.
Yeah.
For sure. Because it's in my case, it feels like it's always been used as like a punishment or a test.
Yes.
Like any treatment that I have to do usually is, oh, well, let's see if you're actually the thing. Like I was talking about during the live, I was constipated when I had my back pain from a tumor. And they were like, no, you're just constipated. And then to prove it, they had to have someone stick their fingers right up my butt for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then they couldn't prove it.
And they do. And we call it running the gambit. Yep. Where in an ER, they're going to put you through the most uncomfortable things to see if you're serious. Yeah. Which is a disgusting practice in general.
Or to teach you a lesson if you're faking
that too.
it.
Yeah.
That's one like, oh, we'll get them.
Oh, do you want the drugs so bad you'll endure this? Like, and mind you, most of the time we don't go in there and say, I need drugs.
We actually, I always preface with, I'm not here for meds. I'm here for care. Yeah. Because it's on my list. Like I've had pain meds before. I've been on pain meds for like 9 years though. And I am not abusing them. I'm not overdosing. But I've been
on pain meds for a very long time. And
that's 10 years now. I'm 37. Yeah.
I was going to say for you, it would be longer. When I was 27, yeah. I don't remember when I started. I had, because it was before Kaiser. So it was pre-2018. So it was probably like 2015, 2016.
Sounds about right.
Maybe that's about even earlier.
Started, right? Like, yeah. Because it would have been when Rory was just born.
Yeah. And at that time, I was doing 15 pills over 3 months.
Yeah, 90 days. Yeah.
So it has gone up, and they get on you for that too. Like when you're like, "Hi, new things have developed, and I need to up the number."
Right. It's like,
I don't need you to give me more medication, like in doses. I need more chances to take it.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
but they'll get on you about it too. They're like, "Oh, well, we just upped this like 2 years ago," and you're like, "It's been 2 years."
Yeah, no, my pain managements have been pretty legit about that.
Yeah.
Like if I tell them I need something, the ones that I've stayed with have always been like, no, we understand. Yeah. And I'm never like, I want more. I'm like, can we try something different? Maybe something else will work better.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I've done that before too, where I was like, listen, gaining a tolerance to this one medication. Yeah. Can we try something different for a while and see if it works?
Yeah.
And we did, and it was horrible, but it was enough of a break to go back to the other one.
Yeah.
Because I was on Percocet for a while, and then I was like, it's starting to not have the same effect. Can we take a break? And then they gave me Vicodin, and Vicodin was terrible. It doesn't work at all.
Yeah, no, it's like one of the other works though.
Yes. So it's weird, like genetic thing. I don't think it's genetic actually, because Bug is Vicodin boy.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
what he was saying, which is weird because neither of us like Vicodin.
No, I have bad reactions to most pain meds. Like not just that they don't work for me, that I have literal like reactions. I'll start puffing up or really swelling, sick. Throwing up, vomiting,
running a fever. Yeah, the whole nine. Yeah, it's icky. I'm much more tolerant of medication, but I feel like part of it is that my body's like, we're just gonna not absorb that.
Right. Yeah, you tend to put it off.
We have like malabsorption issues.
Anyways, that was a whole tangent, but
sorry.
It's all good.
But it's that same thing, like even when you are able to access systems, they are still broken. So it's not just an issue of like Medicaid, Medicare, and like social services and that nature. It's very much like once you have either like a diagnosis or access to insurance for care, it's just a different kind of hard.
Yeah.
It's still just as hard, maybe harder, but it's just different from the other side.
Yeah.
Because we're on both sides of the coin, where you are navigating the Medicaid world, right? And I have insurance, but it's through Kaiser, so it's like through their network is their network.
They are the network.
Yeah. But they will gatekeep care that way as well. Yeah. Where you're like, hey, I want to go see a pain management, and they go, no.
Yeah, that's where I'm currently fighting. Yeah. Like Bomba's trying to find me one. She's amazing, and she did a bunch of research on her own. I didn't tell you about this.
Oh, good.
So she found a bunch, and she's like, I read the reviews, I looked at the ratings, and I think this one would work for you, and maybe this other one.
Yeah.
And she sent the recommendations and everything.
That's awesome. So when do you get to like call and make appointments?
We called on Friday.
Okay.
I don't think we got through though. Like,
okay.
We left a message, and we'll
call
again
you're in
on
like
Monday.
It's time for being in action, which is nice.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's good.
But yeah, that was the thing.
But yeah, it's still largely
is broken.
gate kept.
Yeah.
And like you can't decide you want images done of something without the doctor being like, well,
no,
like,
you
don't need more x-rays.
To
we looked at this 3 years ago and it wasn't a problem. So
I hate that shit too.
You're like, oh, but things change.
I injure myself all the time.
Things change. Well, and we've learned it through having our joints worked on, where they will look at them in x-ray and say there's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah, because it's not soft tissue.
Right. And then we have to persist beyond that point to be able to say, okay, what's next? Instead of like, oh, okay, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm walking away from the table. But it took a lot to gain that kind of confidence and self-assuredness to be able to advocate for ourselves.
Yeah.
Because for so many people, like one bump in the road is all it takes to derail all of it.
Right.
To derail
you're
everybody from care, because
if you're seeking care and you don't currently have it, it's assumed you don't have a diagnosis, right?
Yeah.
So then you think you might have a thing, and the doctor you see tells you you probably don't.
Yeah.
Your gut instinct is to err on their side. Yeah, like, oh no, you're right.
Well, and
I'm
you
fine.
back down because there's that element of like, oh, authority with the doctor.
Oh God. Yeah. I was really weak to that in the beginning. I was just like, sure, okay, whatever.
Yeah. I had to learn. Jen taught me.
Yeah, Jen
taught me a lot.
Jen has been excellent in that. We should have her do a crash course.
Yeah.
Do demos.
How to self-advocate.
We'll do some role play.
Yeah.
Be like, hello,
someone's going to cry even.
I get to cry?
Yeah.
And blush?
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be great.
Blush
Look
and
forward to
cry.
that season 7. Gonna act out a bad interaction with the doctor.
We'll make it a TikTok. I don't know. But yeah, like one bump can be the thing that derails you from care.
Yeah.
And when you have chronic illness and someone tells you you're fine, and then multiple people tell you you're fine, there are so many people who give up.
Yeah. It was so hard to keep going.
Yeah.
The only reason I persisted is because I had to for the kids. Like, that was my goal.
Yeah.
I need to know what I have so that the kids can grow up different.
Right.
We don't have the same problem.
Yeah.
Ugh. And I got no so many times. 8 years before I saw, like, from age 19 to 27.
Because that was 2018, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that was my line of no's.
Jeez.
And it's me, and I'm the problem. And just generally hating doctors because they wouldn't help me. Even like when I broke my hand and stuff, it was like pulling teeth just to get them to like do the image on it.
Yeah.
It was weird.
They don't like when you are a strong self-advocate. And that is a shame.
Yeah.
Because it's the doctors who are like, hell yeah, you understand yourself. Let's work together. That is where that is the standard of care you should be looking for. Because like my doctor is really, really wonderful about that, where we'll sit down and talk about something and he'll go, okay, so I trust you and I know that you know your body. What can we do for you?
Yeah.
Like, how can I help you? Not like, I'm going to come in and shut it all down and tell you to stop seeking care. No, don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't tolerate that.
No.
They should be someone you are partnering with.
Right.
To work together to find not only answers, but appropriate treatments, medications, therapies, and even possibly surgeries.
Problem is the system doesn't look at it that way.
No.
It's definitely product and what we can bill you for and what you need. And
it's also really hard when they separate everything into different departments.
Yeah.
So you don't get like universal care. You talk to your primary and he goes, okay, go see this department.
Yeah.
Or you go see this department, but you can't bring them multiple issues either.
You're like, choose the one.
I got to pick one. Yeah. And then they have no like real context because you can only bring the one.
Right.
Even if it's both of your feet, you got to pick one.
Oh, absolutely. It's so bizarre with the specialists.
Yeah.
Especially since we have systemic problems. Like, you think it'd be handy to know these things.
Right.
But the hardest part too about having a chronic condition and then trying to navigate the bureaucracy is that you're already suffering, right?
Yeah.
So like you're not at your best and you're seeking help and there's no one there to help you.
Yeah.
Like we both used Jen in the early days.
Yeah.
Like we used her. Like she didn't want to help us, but we were like, you're gonna help.
You're
us.
gonna do
No,
this.
she would go with us to appointments.
Yeah.
She did all my appointments
she would
with me.
vet our doctors.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Be like, that was an okay interaction. And then I was able to do it for other people too.
Yeah.
Like when Summer, I was able to go and
Exactly.
say, that was a really good interaction.
Mhm.
She actually is going to help you.
Well, and I sat in on your pain management introduction.
Yeah.
And that was
Which
really
was
handy.
awesome. I really liked that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were cool with it. They're like, oh, all right.
Yeah. I was worried they'd be mad at me about the dentist, but she hasn't said anything. So
That's
I'm like,
good.
okay.
I'm glad.
But yeah, it's just that one thing. And then people stop seeking care entirely.
Right. Because they then assume that they're the problem and that it's not real. And why can't I keep up with everybody else?
Mm-hmm.
And
that leads to self-medicating.
Yes. So the core that started this whole thing was the topic of self-medicating.
Yes.
And I know when you say self-medicating, the first thing everyone thinks of is like, oh, you're using weed.
Or street drugs.
Yeah, you're doing the hard stuff.
I'm out here just heroin all day long.
But self-medicating is so much more than that.
Yes.
It can be ritualistic. It can be just something simple like getting coffee.
Yeah.
Like for us, I need caffeine.
Yes.
When I don't have my Concerta, which I didn't for like 9 months, I needed caffeine.
Well, and I'm unmedicated ADHD, so caffeine is caffeine. I need it.
Yes.
It is what I'm using to self-medicate for the ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that like treating symptoms with what we have access to.
Right. No different to me in my head than like if we were foraging.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You know, if there was a certain plant and people are like, oh, you can't use that plant. Why?
That's
well,
it
shame helps
plant.
With something, but it looks stupid. We don't use it. But you're going to look dumb eating it.
You're like, I don't care.
Am I going to feel better? I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm going to eat that.
Yeah.
plant.
Yeah. Well, and I hate the stigma of even like marijuana as self-medicating. I hate that is so stigmatized because we know that it has medicinal properties and can be used in treatment.
Yeah, there are studies. There are
pain and anxiety.
There are
and
some
depression
really valid
and, like,
studies about how it reduces the amount of pain meds people take. Like
it
doesn't
also,
replace, but
right.
it helps you reduce your intake of pain medications, which is great.
Well, because you have another avenue, and it creates a tier below pain medication.
Yeah.
So instead of like I'm uncomfortable and I have no avenue that's like less intense,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take a pain med because that's all I have access to.
Exactly.
And then you're in trouble for taking too much pain medication.
Right.
And pain medication is so difficult because it's increasingly more inaccessible for the people who need it.
And weirdly more accessible for people who abuse it.
Yeah. Well, and more dangerous for the people who
right.
abuse it.
Yeah.
Way more dangerous.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I was watching this body cam footage the other day. I've been watching a lot of body cam footage. A lot. Because it's interesting to watch people melt down in front of the cops. And I'm like, why would you do that? That makes no sense. Just
say
calm.
nothing.
yeah, don't talk. But this officer grazed a bag and overdosed.
Jesus.
She just didn't have a glove on and she grazed the side of a bag, and then they had to Narcan her 3 times on the sidewalk before the ambulance could get to her. It was that potent.
That's crazy. Well, and I've heard that it's not just like if you touch it, but if you like touch it and then touch your face at all, or your eyes or your nose, your mouth,
right,
then it gets into your system and that could be it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's terrifying. So when we say self-medication, honestly, you've all done it. Everybody's done it. If you take Tylenol or ibuprofen, you've done it. Motrin, it's self-medication, right?
Yeah.
Marijuana is just another tool in the toolbox. And I feel like first of all, there need to be more studies. So it needs to be legalized throughout so that we can study it.
Yeah.
And then from there, build it into the systems.
Mm-hmm.
But right now it's like choosing between, you're choosing between symptoms. Right. So for me, what was I going to say? I don't even
choosing between symptoms.
Yeah.
So
if I was going to medicate for the ADHD, I would have to stop using marijuana, but that takes a tool out from the pain. And for me, the pain is more impactful in like my ability than my like ADHD symptoms.
Right. No, you weigh it. It's is this worth enough? Is this worth enough? Which one gets me functioning more? Right. Exactly. So you go to pain meds and weed. Yeah. I'm sorry.
But it's so stigmatized, and it's like we're living in this world where all people know about pain medication in general is the scary stuff.
Right.
And like, oh, you're an addict, or oh, you're going to become an addict.
Right.
And you're like, not if you use it appropriately and
like,
as diagnosed
I'd like to do
and
a study.
prescribed. Thank you.
I'd like to join a study where they measure like
really
the addictive side effects of things.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I've been on it forever.
Yeah.
But I don't have a problem stopping.
Exactly. Every time you stop it, like, you're fine.
Right.
And sometimes you go weeks without it,
Mm-hmm.
and you're fine. It's stupid. It's really stupid. But there are other like life hacky things that we do to mitigate symptoms.
Right.
On our own, including like movement and posture.
Yeah. Think about the way you sit. If you're an EDSer, you probably sit funky.
Weird.
Like in a knot, curled up,
Yeah.
or sitting on top of something, or you know what I mean?
Like if I'm sitting with my legs on the ground, I have my legs wrapped twice.
I do that.
So I wrap
The
up my
double.
legs double to A, maintain blood pressure, and B, to stabilize everything while I'm sitting there.
Yep.
So we develop methods of self-medication beyond medication itself.
Right. Yeah. And it's like I said earlier, it's a derogatory term.
Yes.
Oh, that
gross.
professional patient is self-medicating. Yes, they are.
Yeah. Well, and
What's
I'm
your
sorry.
problem?
The system drives people to self-medicate because it denies access to care.
Yes. And the price of things. So like this is a worry I've shared before. I'm on bipolar medication that has changed my life for the better.
Yeah.
I love everything now. Everything's good. I'm manic sometimes, but I'm so manageable. It's so obvious.
Yeah.
Like I know what's going on. But if I ever lost insurance, I would lose access to that because it's several $1,000s a month.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what I would do. Like it's the same thing with like pain management. When people lose that and they don't have an avenue.
Yeah.
Where are they going to go to get that relief?
To the danger place.
Right. Like I don't think there's a substitute for like pain or bipolar disorder.
Right. You're not going to find like street drugs for bipolar.
Right. But
I mean, you might find prescription street drugs for bipolar, but
right. Which is again dangerous.
Yeah.
Like there's no winning in that situation.
Right.
Like you go without and then you act like a crazy person. Mm-hmm. Like legit. I'd just be insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
Without it. So it's just annoying.
Right.
Like the bureaucracy of it all and the different steps, like how deep it goes in.
Yeah.
Like I'm always fighting this fight with like, first I have to deal with the doctor, then I have to deal with the pharmacy, then I have to deal with the doctor again, then I have to deal with the pharmacy again, just to get stuff filled.
Yes.
Not even like explicit stuff.
Right. Well, and I mean, with the explicit stuff, like pharmacies do it too.
Oh yeah.
Where the bias lives, and they're like,
they gatekeep the shit out
this?
of me. Right.
When I actually need this.
When I lost my pain management doctor, and I went to my primary care, and she was like, I can keep you alive until you get into pain management, a new one. Yeah. And she helped me find one. But because the provider changed, they didn't want to fill for me. They're like, oh, why did this change? Life happened. Yeah. Like, look at my record. Other people have given me meds, and it's not like I went from one to another to another to another. It was like I had one for years, and then it switched to Bomba.
Yeah. It's just so backwards, and they're like, the opiate crisis, and you're like, cool, let's manage that with mental health services. Yeah. And let the poor people who are actually in pain have their medication. Please. And I'm not talking about like over medicating people after small surgeries. Cool. You want to start like cutting back on that? Awesome. Yeah. All power to you. But really, let's be reasonable about things. Like trigeminal neuralgia, which I deal with on and off in episodes, is nicknamed the suicide disease because it is so painful. People literally take their own lives to get away from it. And you've got the adhesive arachnoidosis. Yeah. Or ditis, both.
It's both.
Both. Which is marked as like an incredibly painful condition. Yeah. But because we are invisible, and because they don't understand the pain that's attached to those things, right? And because we seem functional enough, they assume that we're not in the pain that we are in.
Right. No, exactly. And like, how would we visibly display them anyway?
Right.
go, oh no, my face hurts really bad. Or like in my case, when I go, oh, my back, help me. No.
When my face is really bad, people know.
Yeah, your aura changes, and then the killing intent comes out, and then...
Well, I just shut down for minutes at a time to just, like, breathe through it and focus and, like, dissociate power, right? And pass
your brain
out
shuts
a little
down,
bit, and then you get really tired because you're in so much pain. Yeah.
You get extra processing power to handle it.
Uh-huh.
No external
They're
stimuli.
like, we're taking all the bandwidth for this. Hold on. The system will come back online in a moment. Wait.
Well, it's ridiculous, too, because we both have nerve problems, basically.
Yep.
Like... It's insanity that we can be in that much pain and not have anything to show for it.
Yes. That's so frustrating. So frustrating because other people can't see it.
Right.
And then we have other people who don't believe it because they can't see it.
Right.
And they can't imagine, like I said, functioning in as much pain as we claim to be in.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, they count it out because I can't imagine it. Therefore, it doesn't exist. And that's why we say, like, it's not necessarily that the people around you don't want to understand you. It's that they literally cannot understand you. They can't. They don't have the schema. They don't have the depth of knowledge that it takes to understand what pain is like. Mm-hmm. Even explaining to my pain doctor and my pain psychologist that it's a bandwidth thing for me. I can handle a ton of pain when I am feeling well rested. Mm-hmm. But if I am fatigued and dealing with a ton of pain, I melt down. Yeah. And also like trying to explain that thing where it's like, how's your pain today? And you go, which one?
Right.
Which one?
That's always, it's like, what hurts today? When you go in, especially in pain management, mm-hmm. like when you're going to clinics, there's always a survey at the beginning. And it's like, what hurts? Like, where is your pain located? And it's like a line. And you're like, I need to, shit.
I need to just...
Can I just write body?
Like, yes. Everything but this pinky.
Yeah. Let me list the things that don't hurt right now.
Yeah. That would be a more efficient way to go about it.
Oh my God.
It's just... The system fails because the ignorance is allowed to persist.
Yeah. Yeah. And the only thing we can do about it for now, like in this moment, and for people who are watching, is just not give up on the system that sucks.
Right. Well,
you
learn to
fight
be
for yourself.
Learn to be a good self-advocate, or take somebody who can advocate for you with you.
Do you have a loud Latina friend? That's usually the way to go, because they will say whatever the fuck is going on, and they won't let you get away with bullshit.
Yeah.
That's what Jen does.
Take your spouse, maybe. Take a sibling. Take
anyone
a coworker.
Who's experienced you at your like worst points.
Yeah. Take
a
friend. Like we call it disability buddies.
Yeah, take a disability buddy for sure.
Because we want to shut down so badly.
Oh yeah.
When you are being faced with no after no after no, and being belittled and discouraged and criticized, it takes a toll. Yeah. And then we want to shut down and shell up because we're like, cool, you're not going to hear me anyway. Yeah. We're going to pull it back and hold on to it.
That's when the mind becomes the enemy.
Yeah.
You're like, all your external sources are telling you you're wrong and that you're not going through what you're going through. So clearly it's you. And then you just beat yourself up and deny yourself things that you should be getting, or doing nice things for yourself because you're not worthy, or it's just a cycle.
Yeah. I'm going to say the thing here. Ready? If you are doing it by yourself, it's not for attention. Mm-hmm. So if you are in agony all alone in your bedroom at night or during the day, whenever it's happening, if you are experiencing this alone, you're experiencing these symptoms, you're having these reactions to symptoms alone, it's not for attention. Right. Give your brain a break. You're not being manipulative. You want and need help, and you deserve help.
Yes.
That's the truth of it. But it can be really hard to hold on to. Mm-hmm. That we deserve the help that we are seeking.
Yeah. So, I guess in closing, find a disability buddy. Mm-hmm. And if you can't, join the Discord. Yeah. Not a shameless plug. This is helpful.
Yes.
If you join the Discord and you need people to keep you accountable, you can go in and just be like, hey, everybody, I'm so-and-so. This is what I got going on. Yeah. This is what I'm going to see the doctor for. Help keep me honest.
Right. Yeah.
We'll be there.
I have a code now because I've named so many things. Like so the face's name is Evan, and so when I need to like figure out how often it's happening, I go into my chat with my brother and I search Evan, and then it's all of the occurrences and the days. So like keep track of stuff if you can.
Yeah.
Data can be really helpful in trying to get doctors on board.
Right.
It's not always going to work because you're fighting an ego. And you're also fighting your own self-deprecating nature at the same time.
And don't just assume you'll remember it, because you won't.
Yeah.
It's so hard to remember the times and days and the frequency, because your brain isn't designed to hold on to pain.
Yeah. Well, and it's also really hard to focus when you start shutting down.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to pull out what you need.
Absolutely.
When you are in fight or flight.
Yep.
Because that's what that is, where we just shell up.
So on that downer of a note,
sorry, I love you. It does get different.
Yes, it will get different.
I can't tell you what that might mean for you, but it does get different, and some of the different is better, and that'll be okay. And even if it's not better, it will be okay.
It will be.
And we're here for you. So really, if you join the Discord and you just need somebody to talk to, you can always message one of us directly. Also.
I usually respond really quickly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've had people reach out to us before.
Yeah.
It's fine.
We've done like midday calls to help talk through stuff when we can.
Mm-hmm.
So we're around. We care about you. We're dealing with the same things you are. We know it's hard.
Yeah, no comparative suffering. Don't think that you're not bad enough or we're not experiencing
That's silly. You're experiencing what you're experiencing, and it sucks, dude.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it sucks.
But it can suck together.
Yeah.
You can miserate alone,
or you can commiserate with a friend. And on that note, thank you guys so much for joining us. We've really appreciated all of your interactions in the last 2 years. I'm just gonna say the last 2 years. There we go. We are extremely humbled and proud of this project at the same time.
Yep.
And we care about you all very deeply, and we hope you're doing well. On that note, be kind to you, be kind to others, and we will see you in the next one. Bye. His ears are so cute.
His eyes are cute. Now he doesn't have soulless dead eyes. He's got pretty eyes.
Boy.
Like Fen. Fen's got pretty eyes.
Pretty boy. Here you go.